How's it going, guys? So this is a new series I'm doing, and it's basically me smoking and talking. I don't condone any use of, tobacco products, drugs, any of that. This is mainly just me, basically just ranting about things I'm interested in, and this topic specifically is mainly around fear and perception. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a walk around the good old farm. All right, so to start things off with fear, the way I've always seen fear growing up is that it's deeply rooted to family trauma. It is a very conditioned state that we're all trained to learn, and we are all conditioned to teach. It is fear is a mechanism that it has many emotions tied to it. And from what I could gather while growing up is that a lot of fearful things can actually teach you. They can teach you how to be resilient, which basically means, willing to be boundless in a way that you can recover. It's a recovery. Like, how can we all recover from fear? So that's one of the things I learned. Another thing I learned was how to be strong, how to look inside and find my own strengths that other people may deem as weak. And it's also taught me how to steer clear of friends that are tricksters or manipulators or narcissists. Because from what I can gather, we all have our own perception. We all have our own way of living. And a very important part of that is that really, when it comes down to it, we really don't know how to live, because we're living how others taught us to live. When we were kids, for example, and you get yelled at for spilling something, or you vomit and everyone's grossed out, so suddenly it's engraved in your brain that vomit is nasty, when in fact it's a form of relief. Or, other things like that. Like, I think the biggest thing is the fact that we were practically fed stimulants as children. We were fed ice cream, candy, soda. We were taught to be high in energy. So basically, we could build up the strength and the energy to go to school, to learn how to live. When really that's guiding us towards adulthood. And all adulthood is working for that weekly or bi-weekly paycheck, or even fucking bi-monthly, which is ridiculous. And that paycheck is not your identity. People look at each other like, oh, what kind of job do you have? Where do you work? And it's like, none of that fucking matters, okay? I'm only working because I'm conditioned to think that I have to. That's where the fear resides in, is thinking that you have to do it a certain way. You really don't have to do it you can do it any way you want. But the fear is what makes us believe deeply that we're not the important one, the others are. And that's what leads to toxic friendships, relationships, because then we're tricked. People are smart enough to trick others into basically becoming this shell of a person. But within that shell of a person, it's just so many scars, so many wounds, so much trauma that we are, of course, conditioned to ignore. We're conditioned to ignore it because we can be better. That's pretending to be better. That's not showing yourself that, like, hey, I can face these things. I can get over these things. I can conquer these things. It's not showing you that at all. What it's showing you is that you're a piece of shit and you did bad. And then that's when that one incident of when I spilled this happens, or, this one time I got pulled over by a cop. Your head is a constant reel. It is a playback reel, much like that of a projector, and it's constantly projecting onto your own reality what you wholesomely believe. Now, why do we so wholesomely believe negativity? Why do we deem negativity as such an important thing to consider when in fact there's numerous layers within those negative things to consider? For example, Billy, you were on your phone. You're supposed to be working. Yeah, well, you're an asshole. Wait, are they an asshole? Or are they teaching me what not to do to avoid losing a job? Are they simply teaching me the ways of the position so I can become resilient and so I can conquer this job effortlessly? There's so many different perceptions within so many little things. Like, this person is using me for drug money. Are they using you for drug money? Or are they so deep down that they need to find their own way? Is this person abusing me? Or have they harbored so much trauma that they don't know how else to express it? And as harsh as some perceptions may seem, they're very real, and they're all there. They're in your head, they're there to consider. But aside from basically dissecting thoughts in your mind, at some point you find a key. You find a key that leads to a door, and that door opens to a new world. But that key can only be found at the deepest parts of the valleys, or the pits, or the pitfalls. It's not until you're at your lowest fucking point where you suddenly think, you know what? Why am I living this way? Why am I acting the way I'm acting? Why do I think the way I think? And the more you question yourself, the more answers you get. Because now you're not even questioning things. Now you're answering all your questions. And that's conquering. I wouldn't say conquering your fears, but that's coming to terms with your fears and more or less recycling them into this whole stew of possibilities. Put my cigarette out here. There's a whole stew of possibilities. You just gotta get your swimsuit on, You just gotta take a deep dive. You gotta find out what the hell is going on. Because if you don't, certain vices, certain relationships and certain patterns of thinking can completely overrule your life in general. For example, hoarders. That's all I gotta say, hoarders. They hoard because they don't know where to put the shit, you know? They find sentimental value in things that other people don't accept or they don't agree with. Therefore, it overrides their life. Much like a brain would. Or, you know, your lungs after smoking so long. That's coming from me. So there's all these things that anyone can consider. What's important though is that. Ooh, you okay, dude? You okay, Benny boy? This is Benny boy. He's my doggy. Yeah. He's probably dry, not have enough water. Yeah. But yeah, so don't be a hoarder, you know? Don't hoard your thoughts. Look at your thoughts one by one, even if they seem like they're junk. Even if they seem like absolute trash, this doesn't matter. It does matter because it's rooted to a certain conditioning that you're accustomed to. Everything matters. Everyone matters. But what matters most is the realization that we have big hearts. We have big passions. Yes, we suffer a lot. But through that suffering, we find ourselves. Through loneliness, we find ourselves. So with that said, I think I'm going to conclude this video. Give you a big warm welcome to my channel, to my videos, and some big blessings and thank yous. I appreciate you watching this video, and I hope you gain something from it. If not, there's always next time. Peace out.